Hello everyone, my name is Hemu and today's we are on a day 5 of our AWS training and today we will discuss NAT gateway, NAT instance and the BPC peering, right? So let me just go through with that. So guys, if you remember so I have basically updated this day 3 note like this. Here you will get the notes for day 3, day 4 and day 5. So right in these particular topic which I have mentioned here, right? We have covered everything, only the part which is left, which is NAT gateway and NAT instance. Then we have basically, I have also give you the overview already given with regards to egress only internet gateway, right? So that's not needs to discuss now. And once this NAT gateway and NAT instance is completed, I move towards the BPC peering, right? So I will try to cover some part of BPC peering today, and remaining I will cover tomorrow. And after that, tomorrow we will also discuss the BPC endpoint, which is also most important topic of AWS. Okay. Now let me just move further and let me start with the NAT gateway. So guys, in AWS, if you remember, we have a concept of private subnet and we have a concept of public subnet, right? Now, if we have couple of machines into the public subnet, what used to happen? These machines can able to reach till the internet, and from internet also anyone can reach these particular machines or these particular systems, right? Now, whatever machines we have in private subnet, because these machines, they don't have a direct route towards the internet gateway or towards the internet. Means these machines can not able to communicate directly with the internet. Okay. So such type of machine, if we wants to allow the communication towards the internet, what we have to do, we have to go with the NAT gateway or NAT instance configuration in your AWS, right? So you can use a NAT device to allow resources in a private subnet to connect to the internet or the other BPC or the on-prem networks. Means, see, this NAT gateway concept or NAT instance concept, we are not only using to connect our machines, which is a part of private subnet with the internet. We can also use that same concept to allow the communication between other VPCs, and we can also use the same thing to allow the communication between the on-premise networks like your data centers and all, right? Let's suppose you have a overlapping subnets on with the AWS. You have in AWS you have a one subnet, and there is a in on-prem you have a same subnet. Means it's a overlapping type of scenario, right? And in that scenario, if you want to allow the communication, what we have to go with the NAT. We have to configure the NAT translation or network address translation, right? You can use a managed NAT device offered by the AWS called as NAT gateway, or we can create our own NAT device on an EC2 instance. Means we have a two ways to basically do the or two ways to configure this netting. Either we can use the NAT gateway. This is the device which is controlled and managed by the AWS itself. And the second thing is AWS NAT instance. Means here what we have to install we have to configure one of the EC2 machine, and that EC2 machine act as a NAT device. Okay. And it is always recommended by the AWS. We can use the NAT gateways, because in NAT gateways we will not found the problem with regards to the availability and scalability. Okay, because they provide better availability, better bandwidth, and requires the less effort to configuration. Means you can configure these settings easily. Now, administrator. So now let's try to understand from here. So guys, in this diagram, if you will see, we have a in US East region, right? I have a US East 1A, which is a one of the availability zone AZ1, and I have a AZ2, which is US East 1V, right? Let's suppose in US 1A, I have a one subnet, which is a public subnet. And this is the CIDR of that particular subnet, right? Now, this particular subnet is a part of public route table, right? And in this public route table, what used to happen? We used to basically configure one of the default out towards the internet gateway towards this particular device. And because it's a private subnet, and to make this subnet as a private, what we have to configure this subnet into the private route table, right? And what we will do, whatever VMs we will host into this private subnet, right? If these VMs wants to communicate with the internet here, what used to happen? They cannot able to communicate by default because we are not having this particular default route like we have in our public route table through the internet gateway. So what we have to do in that case, we have to basically launch a NAT gateway device on the public subnet, and that NAT gateway device has an elastic IP address. And what will happen? Now these VMs will basically communicate with the NAT gateway, and that NAT gateway will communicate with the internet gateway, and this internet gateway will forward the traffic towards the internet. And now in our private route table, what we have to do, we will add one default route towards the NAT gateway device. Okay, now let's try to do this thing practically. Okay, so what I will do, I'll go here into my AWS console. I'll open my BPC in a new tab, and I will also open my EC2 in a new tab. I'll go into my BPC tab, and let me just delete this one because I will create everything from scratch. So BPC is deleted now, right? Let me refresh this thing. So now guys, what I will do, I will just go with the basic setup. I will create one BPC. I'll give the name to this BPC like BPC01 day 5, because this is our day 5 class. So I will go with like BPC01 day 5. You can give any name. CIDR, I want to use 172.16.0.0/20. I'll just create this BPC. This BPC is created. This is the detail of that BPC, right? BPC ID. Then we have a CIDR, right? All these things here. Now I'll go into the subnets. Let me go and let me just create the subnet here. So I will just select my BPC01 day 5, and what I will do, I will create subnet 01, which is a public subnet, subnet 01, which is public, and I will put this particular subnet on US East 1A region. And I'll go here, I'll just put 172.16.1.0/24. I will create one more public subnet on US East 1B region. This is subnet 2, and this I will create on US East 1V. And here I will use the sub range, which is 172.16.2.0/24. I'll create now two more subnets, and this is my subnet 1, which is private. This is my private subnet, and I will just create one private subnet on US East 1A, 172.16.3.0/24, or you can go like that as well, like 10.0/24. Or let me just go here, like let's just go with like this segregation. We have a subnet 10, which is a private, and this subnet has this particular series of IP 172.16.10.0/24. I will create one more subnet, which is subnet 11, and I will create this subnet on US East 1V region, and I will put 172.16.11.0/24. So I have total of 4 subnets, 2 private and 2 public. Let me go and just create. I have created these 4 subnets now. Now I'll go here and I will just create 2 route tables. So guys, this is my main route table. So I'll go here because I just have one BPC. So I'll just go and just put main route table for BPC 01 day 05. Now I'll create 2 route tables. One route table as a public route table, public route table for BPC 01. Select my BPC, create it. Go here, create another one, which is a private one, private route table for BPC 01. Select your BPC and I will create the private route table, right? So now I have a public route table and I have a private route table. I'll go here and I will just create one internet gateway. And this particular thing we have done multiple times. I gateway BPC 01, day 5, create the internet gateway. Go here, select this internet gateway and attach this internet gateway with your BPC. Now guys, this is a question here now. See, I have these route tables now. This is my public route table, right? So what I will do, I will go into the subnet association and I will edit subnet association and I will just select subnet 01, which is a public, and subnet 2, which is a public. I will select these 2 subnets here. I'll go into my private route table subnet association and both of these private subnets I will basically select and I will associate with this particular route table. Right now, guys, I want to make this particular route table public. What I need to do in the routes? Write on the chat what we have to do here. So whatever machines I can basically launch on these subnets, they will get the internet connection. And I got the correct answer from Mahesh. We have to add one default route, right? And guys, what is the next hop for this particular default route? Next hop for this default route is internet gateway. Go and just save your changes. Done. Now, I'll go into my EC2 console and I'll just launch 2 VMs. I will launch this VM 01, one VM here, and I will launch one VM here. Okay. I will just mention private public VM. So this particular VM will get the IP address like it is a public VM. But before that, I'll go into my BPC here and I just wanted to edit the BPC settings and let me enable the DNS host name. So whatever VMs I will launch, they will get the DNS. And in this public subnet, I will go and I will just edit these settings and I will just select here, enable auto assign public IP. So whatever VMs I will launch on my public subnet, they can get the IP address by default. This public IP address, they will get by default, right? Because of that reason, let me just go and let me just enable it. Okay. Now, go here on this public VM 01. I'll use the Amazon Linux here. Free tier key pair. Let me just use the demo key pair. Let me just guys tell you one thing. Okay, let me just create a new key pair here. Okay, let me just create a day 05 key pair. Okay, and what I will do, I will just download this particular key pair as a .ppk file, or let me just download as a PEM file. Let me just copy this key pair into my AWS batch folder here. And what I wanted to do, let me just create a dedicated folder here. Key pair, okay? So I will just put all my key pair into this particular folder, right? So this is the PEM file, right? Now, day 5 key pair, right? I have downloaded in a PEM file. I'll go into edit. And what I will do, I'll select my BPC and I'll select my public subnet, which is 01. public subnet 01, auto assign public IP address is enabled. And what I will do, I'll just go here and I will create a security group which is allow all. I want to allow all the traffic. And instead of SHS, I'll go and I'll just select all traffic. I want to allow all the traffic. Network configuration, I want the private IP address on this machine, which is 172.16.1.100. All these settings leave default. Go and just launch the instance. Go again into this instances, refresh this tab here. So one VM already launched. Now I'll go and I'll select and I will just launch one more VM, and this time I will just go with private VM 03. So I have a VM01 and I will just launch one more VM, which is VM03, or let me just launch VM04. VM04, okay. Amazon Linux, leave all these settings default. Let me just create one more key pair, okay. Day 5 -02. This is the second key pair. Okay, I will basically this time I will download that .ppk file. Create. Let me just save here. Edit. I will select my BPC, which is day 5, and here I will select a subnet, which is, let me just select subnet 11 or subnet. Yeah, let me go with the subnet 11 here. Or no, so in private subnets, guys, we don't needed any type of public IP address. Just remember, so this option is deselected here. Select an existing security group, which is allow all. Network configuration, go here, and this machine I want to use here 172.16.11.100 IP address, 172.16.11.100 IP. Launch. Now let me go here. I have a VM1, VM4. Now let me go and let me launch two more VMs. Okay, let's go with this setup. Okay, let's go with this setup. I'll go here and I'll just create VM 02, which is also public VM. Key pair, let me just use the key pair, which is day 5 key pair. Add it. And this VM I want to put on subnet 02, which is public. I'll go here and I will just allow all the communication. So let's select allow all network interface. And here I want private IP, which is 172.16.2.100. Go here and launch this VM. This machine is launching. I'll go here. Let me launch one more VM, which is private VM3. Private VM03. Select key pair, and key pair I want to use this day 5. This day 502 I am just using on one of the VM, which is private VM4. Just remember, okay, because I want to show you something, because people has little bit confusion over there, right? I'll go here and I'll just select a subnet, which is 10. Allow all traffic, because security group we know, so I'm just going with allow all. And here I want to use 172.16.10.100 IP. Go here and just launch this VM. So I have the 4 VMs. Okay. You can refresh. You can able to see all these 4 VMs are there. Now I'll go into my public VM01, and this VM has this particular public DNS name, right? And also it has a public IP address. I'll select this public IP address, right? In security, you can able to see this is the security group, which is allowing all the traffic. Here you can able to check the networking related things. Now, now let's go here. Let's see, guys. Now here we have a two type of key pairs, right? I have a PEM file and I have a PPK file, right? So now let's see. Let's do one more task. Let's convert this day 5 key pair, which is a PEM file, with the PPK file, right? So for that, what software we have to use, guys? What is the software name? For that, what we have to use a software which is Putizen. You have to select this particular software and you have to basically load your key pair, and just select your PEM file, which is this. Open it, save it. See, just open it, and what you can do, you can just click on this save private key. This is what you have to do. You don't need to generate, you don't need to do anything. Just go and just save it here, and you can just put, let me just select all, day 5 key pair PPK file, right? This is the one which we have created, right? Now close it. So guys, see, this is how we can convert our PEM file with the PPK file. And sometimes we used to get this PPK file. Now how we can convert this PPK file with the PEM file, right? And guys, if you want to do these tasks, always just visit the Google. In Google, if you will type how to convert .pem to PPK using Putizen software, you can open this article. Even though you can open this AWS document here, and here they will explain everything. What do you have to convert PEM to PPK on Windows? You can run this Putigen software, right? You can load your PEM file, and after that loading, you can just save the private key. This is how you have to do this thing. Even though you can also convert this PEM file to PPK on Unix and Linux as well. Okay, you can able to follow these method if you are using Linux and other things. Okay. Here also you will get the how do I convert .pem file to PPK or from PPK to PEM. So this is also very good official document of AWS, right? Convert PEM to PPK. You can just refer this particular blog here. You will get the whole idea, what you have to do, everything, right? Everything they have explained properly. So just visit these two links for that. And if you want to convert your PPK file to PEM file, what you have to basically start the Putizen for action, load all these things, open your PPK file, right? Keep fastpass, confirm fastpass, all these settings. And after conversion or export, open SSH key, name the PEM extension and save your file. What you can do, you can open this Putizen software like this. Click on conversion, import the key, select this day 502 keypair.ppk, open. Once done, what you can just go and just save the public key. .pem. So this is how we can able to convert these particular two things like .pem to ppk or ppk to pem. Okay. Now we close it. Close this. Let me close this. Let me close this. Even though there are a couple of BDs also you will find over the internet, there is a Stack Overflow. Yeah, so you will get a lot of documents here. Now, let me just make a connection with my public VM. So I'll just select this public IP address. I'll open my putty here. EC2-user at the rate. Put this IP address in SHS, authentication, credential. Select your private key. With this VM, I was using this day 5 key pair, right? Open it, open. Accept. Now we have I have logged in on my first VM and you can check the IP address. 172.16.1.100 is the IP address of this particular VM, right? See? And guys, from this VM, if I do the ping to google.com, ping is happening, right? Ping is working fine because this VM is a part of public subnet, right? Now, similarly, this we have this particular VM which is VM2, which is also public VM. I'll just select this IP address and let me just open a new connection. Here also, if I want to log in, I'll go and I'll just type EC2-user and the IP address of this particular VM. In SHS, authentication, credential, I'll select a file which is from this. This is the one, the correct key pair. Go and log in. Here also, I'm getting the request and you can see I have logged into this VM as well, right? Now, if I'll do the ping to google.com, ping is working from this VM as well, right? Things are good. Now guys, tell me one thing. Do I able to access this particular VM via SHS? Because it's a part of private subnet. Do I able to open this VM, VM3 or VM4? Because we are not able to, they don't have any IP address, right? They just have this particular private IP address, right? So if I can go here and if I will just type ping to this private IP address, if ping is working, right? Now if I need to take the SHS of this particular VM, what is the way? How I can take the SHS? Guys, how I can take the SHS of this particular VM? I need a PEM file first of all, right? And this particular VM3 is using this particular PEM file, day 5. I have to copy the content of this particular PEM file. I'll go and I'll just select, copy into my public VM. And what I'll do, I'll go here and I'll just create let me just log in as a root user, sudo -i. And now I'll go here and I'll just type nano day 05 key pair dot pem, control X, Y, enter. Now chmod 600 day 05 key pair, right? And after that, what I will just type SHS -i, then day 05 EC2-user at the rate 172.16 10.100. Ping to google.com. See, right now I have logged in on my VM3 and you can see ping is not happening with the Google. Why guys I'm not able to ping to Google from this VM3? What is the reason? Simple. It's not have a route, right? There is no route. There's no public IP. There's no route. And if we don't have any route, we cannot able to communicate. Right now, let me just select this private VM4. This is the IP address of this private VM, right? But before that, let me close this. I'll go here and let me just open the another key file, which is this one. And just open this as well. So this is the key. I think format is wrong for this. It is in the wrong format, guys. Private lines, public lines. Let me open this putties and again, let me just go and let me delete this one. Putties in. I load the key. Let me load this day to ppk file. Go here. Export OpenSSL key. I'll go and I'll just select. Do you want to save? Yes, I want to save it. PEM. Just save like .pem file. Open this date PEM file. Now this is, so guys, this is how we have to convert. What we have to do, let me just repeat this steps again. How to convert your ppk file with the PEM file. Open putties in. I have not verified that time. So what you can load your ppk file, which is this. After loading, you can go into this conversion and you can just export as a OpenSSL key. Are you sure you want to save this key without a password? Yes, I don't want to save with the password. Click on yes. And after that, you can just save with the .pem extension. It will work. Okay, just remember. So this is the process for that. Now, I'll just copy this key pair again, because this is the key pair I was using on my private VM4, right? And I'll go here. Let me just test the ping to 172.16.11.100. Ping is happening. Sudo -i nano day 05 -02 key pair .pem plus right click. So it will basically copy, Control X, press Y, enter, chmod 600 day 05 private key. And after they just type shs ec2-user @ 172.16.11.100. Hit enter. Yes. Permission is denied. What is the reason, guys? Because I have not defined my key pair, right? Just go here and type -i in the key pair, which is day 05. Hit enter and it will work. And right now you can see I have the access of my VM4. Right now from this VM also, if I try to ping is not happening. Now guys, if you want to allow the ping to these machines, what we have to do? We have to go with the NAT gateway concept. What we have to do? We have to go to into your VPC. You can go into this. Where is this NAT gateway? In EC2. Where is this NAT gateway actually? Yeah, you have to select this NAT gateway. Create the NAT gateway. Guys, remember one thing. See, if I'll go here, let me just use this particular diagram. Now See, in this diagram, if you have see what I have done basically, or what we are going to do now. See, just forget about the web tier or app tier as of now. Generally in the production environment, this app servers and database servers we used to put into the private subnets, and this web servers we used to put into the public subnets, right? For here, what I have done, we have a two availability zone, AZ1 and AZ2, right? In AZ1, I have one private subnet and I have one public subnet. Here also I have a one private subnet and I have one public subnet. What I have done, I in my public subnet here and here, I have a 1 VM, and on my private subnet, I have a 1 VM, right? This is my setup right now. So what I will do, guys, see, both of my availability zones, they have a private subnet. Just remember, both of my availability zone, they have a private subnets. Okay. So what I will do, I will basically deploy one NAT gateway on my one availability zone as of now. And what I will do, I will do the routing. So both my private subnets, they can able to send the traffic to this NAT gateway. And after that, this NAT gateway will forward this traffic to AWS router. Or I can say this is a BPC router. And this BPC router will forward this traffic to internet gateway, and internet gateway will forward this traffic towards the AWS public zone services like S3, SQS and all, and either towards the internet where we have a Google, Gmail, Facebook, all these particular servers. Okay. There is a reason, guys, why I have basically deployed in this way, because I want to explain you this particular thing, this HA part. I want to cover this HA as well, because let's suppose if one of the availability zone goes down, then how basically we can make sure there is a HA for the NAT gateways, right? So in that case, what we have to do, we will deploy the NAT gateways into both of your availability zone, AZ1 and AZ2, and we will put like web servers, like we will create one public subnet into both the availability zone, and we will create two private subnets like for app servers and for database servers, right? If we are following the three-tier architecture of your AWS, right? So what I will do, as of now, let me just create one. And guys, remember one thing, see, this NAT gateway is a paid service. You have to pay the cost to AWS, just remember, right? I'll go here and I'll just put NAT gateway 0, 1, and this particular NAT gateway I'm deploying on availability zone 1. For example, okay, I'm not putting like US East 1A here. I will just go like that. Subnet, I will just select the subnet 0, 1 public. So guys, you have to remember one thing. We have to deploy these NAT gateways into the public subnet. Just remember, okay? Why we have to deploy this in public subnet? Because these NAT gateways, they will basically need a route towards the internet gateway. This NAT gateway needs a route towards the internet gateway. So this internet gateway can forward the traffic towards the internet. And our public subnets is a part of public route table. Okay, that is the reason I'm putting here. Connectivity type is public because I'm creating this for public. This private we will create. Let's suppose we are doing that communication with the internal host and all, right? So that part I will cover in your later classes when we will integrate or when we will deploy Palo Alto and all in this particular AWS. I will allocate one elastic IP, additional settings. If you want a specific IP address, you can put here a specific IP address like 172.16. Let's suppose you want to put here 200, right? Or 250, you can put this specific IP address as well to your NAT gateway if you want. Okay. Go and just create it. Let's wait here. NAT gateway is a paid service, as I have told you guys, and NAT gateway will take some time when you will provision. Okay, just remember. No. Now guys, if you will see this particular, or what I can do, let me just tell you that some theoretical point with regards to NAT gateway. Let me close this as well. See, generally this NAT gateway will use to provide the internet access to the instance which is a part of private subnet. Perform network address translation when packet leaves the BPC. So this NAT gateway, what it will do, it will performs the network address translation when packet is leaving your BPC. Eh, So NAT gateway is a AWS managed net service. It has a high bandwidth, better availability, and there is no administrator. I mean, you don't need to configure any type of NAT rules, nothing like that. You just create this NAT gateway. You don't need to do any type of changes there. It is highly available within the availability zone, guys. See, if we have deployed our NAT gateway into this region like US East 1A, means into, let's say, into availability zone 01, and if this availability zone 01 is failed, what will happen? Our instance, which is a part of private subnet, they will not able to communicate with the internet. Okay, because it is a availability zone resilient service. If you want to make, if you want a reason resiliency with regards to NAT gateway, what we need to deploy two NAT gateways, or we can deploy the NAT gateway into each regions. Let's suppose if we have availability zone 01, availability zone 02, and availability zone 03, and all these three availability zone have different servers where we are running different services, right? And if you want a full resiliency within the region, what you can do, you can deploy one NAT gateway into this availability zone AZ01, one NAT gateway on AZ2, and one NAT gateway on AZ3. Okay, we need to deploy NAT gateway into each availability zone, and this is what we will do. Okay, NAT gateway is a paid service, and you have to pay the hourly charges for this, right? We have to pay by the hour for the uses of the NAT gateway, because when NAT gateway is running, they will charge some amount, and you have to pay the bandwidth charges as well. Means how much data processing, there is a like data processing charge, means how many bytes you have transmitted through this NAT gateway. For that also you have to pay the charges. There are two type of charges associated with this service. NAT is created in a specific AZ, use an elastic IP address, and elastic IP address cannot be changed on the NAT gateway. Means whenever whatever elastic IP we have allocated, we are not allowed to change, just remember. Okay, now you will get around 5 Gbps of bandwidth bit, automatic scaling up to 45 Gbps. So it is a highly scalable service with regards to the bandwidth. Just remember, for more bandwidth, we can split the resources into multiple subnets, and we will use multiple NAT gateways. Let's suppose you have a requirement of 100 Gbps speed. What you can deploy 3 NAT gateways, and you can basic some resources will forward traffic through first, some resources through second, and couple of resources will send through the third one. Like that, we can split the traffic. NAT gateway supported TCP, UDP, and ICMP type of traffic, and generally it is uses the port range starting from 1024 till 655355 for the outbound connections. There is no security group to manage or required for NAT gateway. And network ACL you can able to configure at the subnet level to apply, which you can basically configure at the NAT gateway level. NAT gateway must be created in a public subnet so that it can communicate with the internet. It will perform the port address translation. Means, guys, what type of translation this NAT gateway is doing? It is doing the PAT, port address translation, or dynamic IPN port according to the Palo Alto. NAT gateway cannot be used across BPC. Means it is a BPC specific service. Let's suppose you have created this NAT gateway into BPC 01. Then you are only allowed to use within that BPC. You cannot able to use into another BPC. NAT gateway cannot be used across the BPC peers. Means Let's suppose you have created the BPC peering between two BPC. You are not allowed to use NAT gateway that time for the traffic. If you have a site-to-site VPN or a AWS Direct Connect setup with your on-prem servers, you are not allowed to use NAT gateway in that scenarios as well, because there are very good solutions for that. You can use the transit gateway and all, and these things we will discuss in future classes. It can perform port address translation for 55,000 sessions. No security group on the NAT gateway, guys. So this is the some theoretical stuff with regards to NAT gateway, which everyone needs to remember. Now, what I can do, you can go here. See, my NAT gateway is available. If I'll go here and if I'll see right now, ping is going on. Ping is not working from both of my machines, right? So if I'll go here and if I'll do one change, if I'll go into my route table now, and I'll just select my private route table. In this private route table, I'll go into this routes, edit the routes, add the routes, and I'll just put 0.0.0.0/0 and reachable via NAT gateway. And we have a NAT gateway here. And if you have a this setup, now we have done the NAT related things, and now you can see ping has started working. So guys, if you want to allow the communication for your private subnets, what do you have to do? You have to go with the NAT gateway. Now there is a one question. See, let's suppose in internet, see, from this particular VM or this particular web server or this VM or this particular database server, I wants to communicate with one of the server here. So they can able to send the traffic till that server, guys. Yes, no, like this. But can there is a one more user is here. Can this user able to communicate with these particular servers? This users who is a part of internet. Can this user able to communicate with the database servers? Can he able to initiate the traffic? No, because it will perform the port address translation. Okay, just remember. Anyone from the internet, they cannot able to reach directly. They cannot able to initiate the connection. Once session is established, they can able to give the reply. That's a different case. Okay, so just remember your PAT is a unidirectional, and here what it will do, it will perform the source netting. Just remember, it's perform the source address translation. Now guys, you can see I have deployed this NAT gateway into one of the AZ, right? On this availability zone, right? Let's suppose this availability zone went down. What will happen is these two servers able to communicate with the internet if one of the availability zone goes down, where I have on that gateway. It cannot able to communicate. Then what is the solution? What we can deploy one more NAT gateway here. Okay, we have to deploy one more NAT gateway, and how we can achieve this high availability? Let's go and let's do that. You can go here into NAT gateway. You can create one more NAT gateway. NAT gateway 02 into availability zone 02. And this time I will select the public subnet, which is 2, which is a part of US East 1V. Allocate one elastic IP address. Additional setting, you can use here one more setting like 172.16.2.250. You can use this particular IP address into your NAT gateway. Go and just create this NAT gateway. Let me just go here into first one. Guys, here you can able to check this is the NAT gateway unique ID. Connectivity, it will offer you the public connectivity. It has a primary IP address, which is a primary private IP address 172.16.1.250. It has a primary public IP address 75.101.178.35, and it is also having one ENI. And guys, remember one thing, your NAT gateway just having one interface, which is this one, primary ENI. Okay, this is a subnet and this is a BPC. We don't have any secondary IP address. Here you can able to check the monitoring and all. You have to start the alarms and other things to check this monitoring. Here you can able to do the tagging and all, right? Let's refresh. Now, guys, see, my second NAT gateway is under creation. But here you have to understand one thing. Now, how we can basically do the routing? See, if you have a this type of setup, what you have to do? You have to basically create two route tables that time. This is one private route table and this is another private route table. In this particular private route table, you have to associate one subnet, which is these two subnet. You have to associate into this private route table. And another private route table will have these two subnets. And in this, you have a default out to was this NAT gateway 02, and here you have a default out to was NAT gateway 01. Because routing is very critical. Okay. So what I have to do now, because I have a HA this time, so I'll go here. I will go into my route tables. This is my private route table for BPC. I'll go here and I'll just put private route table or AG01 private route table. Let me just give this name. I'll go into subnet association and I will basically remove one of my subnet, which is 11, because 11 subnet is a part of another route table. And let me just create the new route table here. This is my availability zone 2 route table. I will launch one BPC. I will select this BPC, create this route table, associate the subnet here, and just select this 11 subnet. Go into routes. Before going into this route, check your NAT gateway is available or not. This is the network interface or ENI of one NAT gateway, right? You can able to see this is the one NAT gateway and we have another NAT gateway. So this is the ENI for that other one. These are the public IP address. These are the private IP address and all, right? So now you can go here because my NAT gateway is available. Let me just open into new tab. See, it is created, right? Both are available. Now I'll go here and let me just add one route. And I will add the route with the NAT gateway. And I will select NAT gateway, which is on availability zone 2. So this is how we have to basically trick the routing. If you have a subnets into 3 availability zone, then you can create 3 route tables. You can create 3 NAT gateways. I hope guys this HA concept you will understood how you can make the highly available setup with the help of NAT gateways. So you will get like if one of the AZ is failing, you have the another AZ from where you can still do the communication, right? Now if you can see traffic is still going on. There is a who is, I think this package is not there. Okay, but if you can ping to Google, see ping is happening. Okay, and from this VM also, see ping is working, means there is a communication. There is a proper communication is there. Okay, so this is how guys we can able to use the NAT gateways concept with the HA setup. Now, let me just show you one more thing. There's a one student told me one thing. Let me just go with the root here. You can type here ipconfig. So this is the IP address. Let me just try with the curl to google.com. See, I can able to get the communication with the Google. And if I will just go like this, https google.com, I can get the page for Google as well. Even though I can install any packages like yum update -y. See, I have the internet connectivity properly here. Now, so guys, this is how we have to go with the HA setup. In HA what? We have to basically create two NAT gateways, one in AZ1 and another one in AZ2. And we have to basically modify our routing table. We have to create two routing tables. In first routing table, we will put the private subnet, which is a part of AZ1. In second route table, which is this, we will put the subnet, we will put the private subnet, which is a part of AZ2, and we will put one default route towards NAT gateway 2. And in my first routing table or my AZ1 routing table, I will just put the default gateway towards NAT gateway 0, 1. Okay, now.